Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. RCMP in Hope, BC are reporting 2 Lloydminster residents have been killed in a plane crash north of that community. A police statement says the small Cessna aircraft with 2 occupants crashed yesterday and the wreckage was located this morning. According to police, the victims are a 40-year-old man and 35-year-old woman, both from Lloydminster. The National Transportation Safety Board and BC Coroner Service are continuing their investigations into the crash. Names are not being released at this time. With more snow slotted for tonight, you might start to feel some of that winter anxiety settling in. For a look at what you can expect in Lloydminster over the coming weeks, here's Tate Laycraft.
Joining me via Zoom is global news meteorologist Peter Quinlan, and you guessed it, he's here to talk weather. So, Peter, first off, thanks so much for being here and welcome to the show. But talking about this first winter storm that we're seeing across Saskatchewan and in parts of Alberta, what can you tell people about it?
Yeah, it's a pretty potent low pressure system. It's dumped a ton of moisture on British Columbia, brought in flooding to areas like Merritt and Princeton and the parts of the lower mainland. And it is continuing to slide through into Alberta and Saskatchewan, eventually Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec too. And as it does so, it's going to dump a ton of snow, moisture, mixed precipitation, and bringing in some very strong and even damaging winds at times as it tracks through.
And another element to these conditions is the wind, as Environment Canada has issued wind warnings across Saskatchewan and again in parts of Alberta. So what can you tell people about these intense gusts that we're seeing?
We'll likely see those gusts in the Lloydminster lingering into the early to mid-evening hours. We're talking gusts potentially at times up to 110 kilometers per hour. So that does reduce visibility, creating whiteouts, near zero visibility, and poor travel conditions. So make sure you're checking ahead with the local authorities for those road conditions. It does look like into tomorrow, those winds should have eased right back. And tomorrow it'll be like nothing had even happened in terms of the sky. It'll be nice and sunny, and we'll see temperatures warming up during the day. But there certainly will be some havoc on the roads.
And though we are anticipating a little bit of a break from the snow, it is expected that we'll see more fall this afternoon as well as into this evening.
Yeah, we are expecting probably about 2 to 8 centimeters in the Lloydminster area once this is all said and done. It is fairly wet snow, so it does compact a little bit more than we would see, say, in the middle of winter, just because temperatures are around just below the freezing mark by a few degrees. But in behind this system, we will see those winds stay fairly strong into early tomorrow. The snow should be done by the day tomorrow, and we'll eventually see those skies clear and those winds ease.
And though this snow and wind is maybe a little bit of a damper, we've yet to really see temperatures dip off in the border city. So, over the next couple of weeks, do you expect things to cool off pretty dramatically?
Yeah, get ready for a big blast of winter cold air. In behind this system, we're going to see temperatures overnight falling back to minus double digits. Then with wind chill, we'll be feeling close to the minus 20s on your Wednesday morning. As we take you through the week, daytime highs will be in mid minus single digits. So we're talking between -4 and -8. Overnight lows will stay into the minus double digits by a few degrees. It's this weekend that we will, by Sunday, probably get back to the minus teens for daytime highs. Overnight lows could push toward the minus 20s, which means those morning wind chill values could push toward the minus 30s at times. It looks like this cool down will be with us through all of the week after this week. And then as we hit the end of November, we might see a bit of a warm up, but I'm not seeing any major warm up on the way as we look ahead toward December. So get ready for this winter cold to be sticking around for quite some time.
Thanks so much for doing this, Peter.
With the recent dump of snow overnight, driving in these snowy conditions can be difficult. Josh Howerlack has tips on how to best prepare your car for winter driving.
Today I'm joined by Randy Marsh from the Lloydminster Motor Club to get some tips and advice on how to be best prepared for winter driving. So to start, really the big question with all the snow that came in overnight and into this morning, what can people do to really get their cars ready for driving in conditions like this?
Don't leave it for the last minute. This is a big one. But no, I'm originally actually from Vancouver Island, and we don't really get too much snow and stuff like that. Coming out here was a big shocker. And a couple of things that I learned over the years, winter tires definitely do help exponentially. It's never a bad idea to carry an extra set of jumper cables or a battery booster, tow straps in the back as well, because it's not going to take up much space out of the car, but in the case that you are actually stuck, it's definitely going to help if you do need to get pulled out. A good battery as well gets you through in some of the very cold days, which we are very used to getting out here for sure.
And then I guess as temperatures begin to drop over the next few weeks, plugging in your car is going to become more important. Do you have any advice, sort of, I guess, on when to start plugging it in at certain temperatures?
It's never, I think a lot of the recommendation is to plug it in once it hits about -7 degrees Celsius. That's when a lot of the stuff kicks in for a lot of the safety features for heating up the cars with the block heaters. Inline coolant heaters help as well for vehicles that don't have the option for a block heater. And another thing too is you want to make sure that you don't rush. You give yourself the extra 10 minutes possibly to get into where it is you need to go. Leave yourself plenty of stopping distance as well when you're driving, and just prepare for it's in winter. It has to be defensive driving, not offensive driving, because you got to kind of prepare for the worst and just hope it doesn't happen.
So you had mentioned having winter tires. Is there any real big differences between the winter tires versus, I guess, all season or all weather?
Well, a lot of the winter tires, they actually have fins kind of grooved into them, which give better grip on the ice and snow. Studded tires help a lot for the ice as well. Personally, I think if you have an option for studded winter tires, definitely go for it, because it is just going to add a little bit better traction for any vehicle that has them during the winter months.
And then you had talked a little bit about sort of having almost an emergency kit in the back seat of your car. What would be some other things that you'd maybe put in there?
Um, Gloves, tow rope, booster cables, or a booster pack. Just if you get stuck, and especially if you get stuck out of town, it's going to be a little bit for recovery to make its way to you. So it's never a bad idea. Just plan ahead. Throw a couple snacks in there. Backup battery for charging your phone and stuff like that too as well. Never a bad idea to have. Just always, it's just like it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
That's great. That's all the questions I had. But is there anything else you want to add about maybe just driving in winter and how to be best prepared?
Yeah, just give yourself that extra time to make it to your destination safely. And you're not in a rush. You're not in a race. Increase your stopping distance. Don't take off from an intersection, because when you do, if your tires spin, you actually create a layer of ice over that portion that you're spinning on, which one vehicle, not so bad. Multiple vehicles throughout a day, you're going to get really icy intersections, and it gets to be really unsafe. And the plows can't be everywhere all at the same time. So just be courteous of yourself, be courteous of your fellow drivers, and just be safe.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
Local nonprofits will now benefit from new funding approved by City Council last week. Close to $400,000 in grant funding will be going to 13 different Lloydminster organizations. The Interval Home, Midwest Family Connections, and Big Brothers Big Sisters received the most funding, ranging from $70,000 to $50,000 each.
Having those guaranteed funds where someone might match those funds, where that gives them the seed money to get someone in place to help with additional fundraising, and a part of it, it's all critical.
The funding was made available through Family and Community Support Services, with 80% of the funding coming from the Government of Alberta. Mayor Gerald Albers says this funding is vital for local organizations and will continue to advocate to the province to maintain FCSS grant funding.
That's funding that supports organizations that benefit everyone in the city, especially the most vulnerable at different situations, as you can see through the list. The work that goes on at every one of those organizations is critical to make our city a better place. And without the funding from FCSS through the Government of Alberta, that would not happen.
A city committee reviewed and approved the grant applications based on the programs, expenses, past performance, and community need. 2 organizations who applied did not receive any funding. With the holiday season coming up and many people looking to get their Christmas shopping done early online, Alberta RCMP are reminding the public of online safety shopping tips. With American Thanksgiving comes Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is just over a week away. Those 2 days are known for their big sales both in person and online. The RCMP say if it's a crazy cheap deal, it probably isn't real.
Making sure you're using well-known sites as well. If you find one that has a $50 Yeti cooler, it's probably not true. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, right? So making sure you're shopping at those reputable sites and known kind of sites, right?
The RCMP also have a few tips people can use to protect their information from being stolen online, including multi-factor authentication, changing passwords, and more.
We'd like people to review their privacy settings on a regular basis in order to control who can see their personal information and what's posted to your profile. We'd like people to avoid conducting financial transactions via public Wi-Fi. That's a very easy way that hackers can get into people's personal information, right? So using your private Wi-Fi from home versus going into somewhere like a coffee shop to use their public Wi-Fi.
There's also been a rise of scams during the pandemic since there has been an increase of online shopping for all products.
There were over 800 reports of frauds involving money, property, and security under $5,000. This happens on a quite regular basis. We're seeing a drastic increase in kind of frauds and scams online as the technology has moved to kind of online base.
They've also seen an uptick in CRA scams, where people are pretending they are with the Canadian Revenue Agency or police officers looking for money.
Majority of those, or actually all of those, are false. The CRA nor the police will never ask for payment over the phone or in lieu of gift cards or game cards or a prepaid visa.
Davidge says if you have questions on whether or not something is legitimate, to contact the Lloydminster Detachment. Now Shelby Clark will take a look at the winter conditions around the border city.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Yes, now taking a first look at our weather forecast. If you've been outside, if you looked outside, if you had to drive outside, you have seen it is very snowy out there. We have a wind warning here in effect right now for the border city especially. We got winds around 48, close to 50 kilometers an hour winds coming in. So it's very strong. Hopefully everybody's being careful out there on those driving conditions. We got some tips earlier on in our show there. Hopefully everybody was watching and seeing that. But right now we are sitting at -5 here in the border city. And yes, we are still snowing. We will be continuing that throughout the evening as well. And moving on to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan here. Most on this side are seeing around -5, close near that. Cold Lake is at -4 as well as in Vermilion, and down in Provost and Wainwright they are sitting at that -5 as well, while most are also at -6. And switching over to our Saskatchewan side here, some are a bit cooler for most spots here. -4 for Isle Lacrosse, Pierceland, St. Walburg, and Maidstone, as well as in Macklin. -3 for Green Lake right now, while Meadow Lake is at -2 as well as in North Battleford. So they are slightly a little bit warmer compared to the Alberta side. But for North Battleford overnight, they will be going down to a low of -9. With that wind chill, they will be feeling like around -20. Will be very strong winds throughout the night. They are seeing some flurries throughout the night, and tomorrow they'll be seeing that -9 as well, and it will be a lot cooler. Switching over to Cold Lake overnight, they'll be cooling down quite a bit to -12 even. With the wind chill, they will be feeling like around -22, and tomorrow it will be around -9 as well, and they will be seeing a lot more cloud coverage and seeing some flurries continue on as well. And now for here in the border city, we will be seeing the coolest with -13. We'll be feeling like -21 with the wind chill, so hopefully everybody is going to be careful out there if they are going to be outside in the evening. And tomorrow we will be cooling down quite a bit, seeing that -10 mark for tomorrow. But switching over to our 3-day forecast for here in the border city, we will be seeing a low of -13 tomorrow for Wednesday. Thursday we will warm up just a bit there to -3. -3, but we will be having a low of -17 on Thursday with a mix of some sun and cloud. And Friday we'll be continuing that with -3 as well with a low of -14, but we will be seeing a chillier weekend coming up here. That's the first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
New research from the University of Saskatchewan is taking a look at the genetic makeup of chickpeas. The hope is that the research will help grow the number of chickpea acres in the country. Jillian Code has more.
Today, I'm joined by Bunyamin Taran, who is a professor in the Department of Plant Sciences with the University of Saskatchewan. He's part of a research team looking at the genetic makeup of chickpeas. Bunyamin, can you tell me what your research entails?
So my job here on a daily basis is I'm breeding chickpeas for Canada, for Western Canada, and more specifically for Saskatchewan and Alberta. Those are the two places where chickpeas are grown. And chickpeas for Canada is kind of a new crop. It was commercial production only started in 1996. So compared to other crops, it's quite new. It was zero before that. And then now we are around like 300, 400,000 acres in Western Canada. And then this is a healthy crop. So it's a small crop in Canada, for Canada. Okay, but globally, this is the second most important food legumes globally. And then this is the main source of protein for millions of people in South Asia, India, and the surrounding areas in Africa. So for people who cannot afford animal-based protein and other sources, so chickpeas is the kind of a supplement, substitutes for those source of protein. So this is globally very important, highly nutritious crop. Even now, it start picking up in Canada. You can see 10 years ago, if you traveling in rural Canadian, rural Saskatchewan, for example, you don't see in the cooler any kind of hummus, hummus like the product that, made from chickpeas. Now everywhere you see that. So we're picking up because it's a healthy product, it's a good product, a lot of good protein, a good source of micronutrients.
And what will this research mean for the future of growing chickpeas in Canada?
So one of the main challenges chickpea in Canada is that you remember, Jillian, in our country here in Canada, we grow chickpeas in spring and then we end up with cool and wet. In other part of the world, it's the reverse. Their season ending with warm and dry. So in a way, we are kind of the opposite. If you look at globally how the season, where the crops being grown. So that gives us some kind of specific, unique challenge for us working here. So we have to maintain the yield, which is that's where the farmers, what the farmers get paid from, like a bushel per acre. But also we need to maintain the quality. At the same time, we want to make sure that the chickpea will be successfully grown and produced here. So this project, the data, the information that are generated by this research will help me to deliver that to the Saskatchewan, to the Canadian farmers in a good way. So we're making progress during my leadership here at the U of S, leading the chickpea program. By the way, this is the only program in Canada, the chickpea here, and probably in North America that is sizable. So we continue making the progress. You see the yield improvement is coming. And of course, farmers, when they grow crop, they look at the economical benefits. Okay, so which one the crop that will give me more return? And also they consider the rotations. It's not going to be like 10 million acres of chickpea, no, but this is part of the rotation. They grow cereals, they grow canola, and then they grow chickpea, part of the rotation. That's how we kind of long-term sustainable agriculture. You're not focusing on one crop. So biologically it's good for the system. So we include legumes, chickpea, one of them, into that rotation in the drier area of Saskatchewan. So making chickpea high yielding, large seeded, which is the premium price, high amount of nutrients, mature in time for our environment, better resistance. So instead of spraying with fungicide 4 or 5 times, now people can reduce that amount of fungicide being applied. So that helped. Okay, so all those things. So it's not just one thing, but kind of the package, the whole thing that you need to deliver. So that really helped me into to that areas.
Yeah, it seems really well-rounded. And, if you could say one thing to, Canadian farmers who are maybe thinking about growing chickpeas, what would you say?
Give it a try. It's a good source of protein, good source of vitamin, good source of micronutrient, iron, zinc, and other micronutrients. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for being able to chat with me today about this.
Thank you for having me here.
Now here are your agriculture prices for today. Lloydminster Bobcats fans have been treated this season by the team's play on the ice as well as their community engagement. Evan Kenny has more on how the team continued that this past weekend.
The Lloydminster Bobcats have earned points in 6 of their last 7 games. This dates back to a 4-3 overtime victory over the Calgary Canucks on October 30th.
There's going to be the ups and the downs throughout the season, but a big part for our group here is identifying it and the want to win. And I think that's a big part, and it's contagious. Our guys aren't satisfied with close games if we're losing them.
This is a reason to celebrate. The team and their fans did just that with a fan skate on Sunday.
It was a tough loss, but at the end of the day, those are the kids that look up to him to be superheroes and role models. And they ended up, being out there and enjoying it with them. And I think those are special things that are bright spots in our days, definitely that we appreciate more and more this year. A player like Connor Burke, who comes to us from Calgary, fantastic kid. He smiles all the time. He's always upbeat. It could be the worst day ever, and he's still a positive human, and that's infectious throughout the room in the right way. And to see him out there engage with the kids and to be a part of that, and there's a player that's going to be with us for years to come, and that's a huge part.
The Bobcats also partnered up with the Lloydminster Rescue Squad over the weekend for Sticks and Sirens.
A great event, and I think that, again, it's something that maybe we appreciate more now than ever, but it was just great to see so many people come out and enjoy it.
The Bobcats will be back on the ice without the fans this time on Friday when they start their second Southern road trip. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now Shelby Clark will take another look at your weather forecast.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking another look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off, as usual, taking a look at temperatures around the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, -6 for Edmonton and Edson right now, -5 with Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House. Jasper is at -3, while Athabasca and Whitecourt a little bit cooler at -7 and -8 degrees, while Cold Lake is at -4. And switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing slightly warmer temperatures with most at that -2 mark, and Cold Lake, yes, is still sitting at -4. But as we switch over to our northern region of the provinces, they are seeing slightly cooler temperatures on the Saskatchewan side here. They're slightly warmer. Uranium City and Stony Rapids are a bit cooler at -8 and -9, while down in this area here, Wollaston Lake is at -4. Most are sitting at that -2 mark, and Flin is at -3. Switching over to the Alberta side here, they're seeing slightly cooler temperatures, -7 in Fort McMurray, Peace River, and High Level, while Fort Chipewyan is at -8. Slave Lake is sitting at -6, and Grand Prairie is a little bit cooler, sitting at -9. And switching over to our southern region of the provinces, they are starting to get into those minus temperatures. Meanwhile, yesterday they were looking a lot warmer. They are cooling down quite a bit as we head more into the winter season. -1 in Lethbridge right now. Medicine Hat is sitting at -3, as well as in Calgary. Banff is at -4, and Coordination is sitting at -6. Switching over to this side here, they're seeing slightly around the same, but slightly warmer temperatures, especially with Moose Jaw and Yorkton at -1, -2 in Regina, and Kindersley and Swift Current are -4 and -5, and Estevan is right hitting that 0 mark right there. But as we go back across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we are dropping dramatically compared to what we were seeing the evening before. We are seeing a lot of double-digit temperatures for our lows. Meadow Lake, Paradise Hill, Wainwright will be seeing a low of -13 throughout the night. Isla Crosse will be seeing a low of -10, while Unity will be seeing a low of -9. Pearson will be seeing a low of -12, while Provost will be seeing a low of -11, and Bonnyville will be seeing a low of -14, and Myrna will be seeing the coolest with a low of -17. So most are hitting that double-digit lows, and meanwhile, Meadow Lake, Isla Crosse, Pearson, and Paradise Hill will be seeing a chance of some flurries throughout the night, while the rest will be cooling down. They will be seeing catching a couple clouds in sight. And switching to temperatures across the region tomorrow, we will be cooling down quite a bit, as you can see on the map, by a couple degrees here, while St. Paul and here in the border city will be seeing -10 tomorrow, while the rest will be ranging from around 6 to 9 degrees. It will be cooling down quite a bit, yes, as we are heading more into the winter season here. And switching over to our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, as I was saying, we'll be seeing -10 tomorrow. Thursday will be warming up just a bit to -3, but we will have a low of -17 with a little bit more cloud coverage. Friday we'll see a little bit more sun, so hopefully that'll warm up our day a bit more and help melt that snow out there with -3 on Friday to start off this weekend. But we will cool down a bit for the weekend on Saturday to -6, and we will be seeing some more flurries. Unfortunately, the snow will not be stopping anytime soon. Sunday will be ending off the weekend with double digits with -14, so ending off very chilly on Sunday, and starting off next week will be a little bit warmer with -9 on Monday, and Tuesday we'll see -8. That is another look at your weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back to Pet Project This Week, everybody. I'm joined once again with Becca Lawrence from the Lloydminster and Community SPCA. And unfortunately, Becca, we have another kind of sad episode. We got some kind of bad news to chat about, but I mean, obviously, if anybody's been following along with your guys' social media, you've been really keeping the community updated on the happenings, so to speak. But you know, in case anybody out there hasn't heard, why don't you let them know what's going on this week?
Yeah, so I mean, for a while there, we were kind of struggling with upper respiratory, which is something that we typically see around this time of year anyway. So, you know, that's kind of, we were just struggling with that and trying to get that under control. And then, you know, we had those 7 cats that were left outside of our front door, and we brought them in. And then just after that, we kind of just seen a gradual decline in health in all of our cats. Not all, but like, you know, it was just a really abrupt health decline. You know, we would get them spayed and neutered, and then they would just become really, really ill within 12 hours. Like, you know, by the next day they would have pneumonia, things like that. So we did actually find out that it was panleuk, which is just short form for panleukopenia. And it's essentially just the parvo for cats. So, you know, we were at the vet a lot and, you know, doing lots of treatment, things like that. So it was just a really devastating couple of weeks. We lost quite a few of our kitties, unfortunately. You know, they lost their fight, but, you know, we're struggling right now, but we're getting the shelter where it needs to be so we can continue those intakes. Because I mean, especially on a day like today, you know, there's a lot of kitties out there that will need our help.
Exactly, and I mean, you know, it is awful news, but we all know that the SPCA is doing everything they can to, you know, help the cats that you guys still have and things like that. And so I think it's really important right now, you know, if you've been waiting to do something for the SPCA, you know, I know you guys have had to throw out a lot of items, things like blankets, litter boxes, things like that you guys now have to replace, obviously. So if we were to put out, you know, all points bulletin of kind of some things you guys are looking for, obviously, since you've had to throw things out and you've had just very rough last couple of weeks, you know, what's something that people could do to help you guys?
You know, like you said, we're throwing a lot of things away, you know, blankets, things like that, just to ensure that we're not, you know, spreading anything else. And just in case, you know, the kitties that we still have maybe are just carrying it, you know, we're watching them pretty closely. You know, but yeah, we're throwing everything away right now. So we do actually have quite a few metal bowls. So we're really good on bowls now. Lots of donations. So we're really, really appreciative of that. But yeah, blankets, like small blankets even, or sheets, or, you know, large blankets for the dogs. Those are something we're going through quite often right now. So yeah, things like that is probably the most that we would need. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, we're pretty much just throwing all of our laundry away instead of cleaning it right now. So I would just say blankets. That's our biggest need right now.
Yeah, well, there you go, folks. And obviously, like, money buys blankets. So if you've been putting off maybe making a donation, if it's something that's been in the back of your mind, maybe you donate around Christmas time or something like that. You know, this is a time where, you know, the SPCA really needs all the help they can get. There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
So, and I guess just a little bit of good news before we close the show here for today, but that is that you guys are doing your jail and bail again, which is great to hear.
Yes.
That even in all this madness that we're still able to have, you know, a fundraising event that everybody enjoys, and
Yeah.
you know, we can raise some money for the organization. So why don't you let people know kind of what's going on with that right now?
Yeah, so we're thinking around the 16th of December, you know, kind of close to Christmas, you know, kind of that beginning of December time still frame. But, you know, we're still looking for our participants that, you know, are normally jailed up with the dogs, things like that. But just like last year, we're just going to kind of keep everybody off site, you know, to still participate and share our posts, things like that. But again, just to keep ourselves safe as well too. We're just, everyone can still go about their day. But we are also going to have our silent auction again as well. So we're really excited about that. That was a big hit last year. So if that's something that you are excited about with us as well, please do check in on that. But yeah, we're thinking around the 16th of December, and we're really excited about that.
That is very exciting news. So obviously, anybody out there in the community, if you would like to volunteer, if you know you want to get jailed and bailed, you can do that, of course, you know, or obviously make a donation to those who are jailed and bailed.
Yeah.
But that is unfortunately all the time we have for right now. Becca, oh, I should also say, if you have silent auction items to donate, I'm sure the SPCA would appreciate those for the event.
I would love that, yeah.
Beautiful. So there you go. Several things you can do to help out the event. But that is unfortunately all the time we have this week, Becca. But I want to thank you for taking time out of obviously your busy week and, you know, taking care of those kitties to chat with us. And I want to thank the audience for, you know, tuning in. So we'll speak with you again next week, Becca.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having us. And also thanks to our community as well. They've shown us a lot of support lately.
Yes, can't be said enough. The community here is wonderful. So thank you, everybody.
They are.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Flavia Robles with the Kidney Foundation, and she's here to speak about the Cash for Christmas 50/50 draw from November 12th to the 18th. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, Flavia, very happy that we're able to have you on here. Now, what is this 50/50 draw all about?
Absolutely. We're so excited. This is our second time that we've ever tried it, but we've never gone to the heights that we are aiming for, which is for someone to win up to $5 million. It is a campaign that's only a week long. Ticket sales close at 10 p.m. on November 18th, and we will be making the draw live at 11 p.m. and then we will post the winning ticket on our cashforchristmas.ca site. We know that sports teams and you know, beyond, everyone loves a great 50/50, and we thought that having something like this, our Cash for Christmas campaign, that will really impact the lives of the kidney and the transplant community would be truly transformational. And so we're reaching out to everybody to please buy their ticket, spread the word, and let's make this the most successful that it can be. When we talk about, as the Kidney Foundation, about the cause, and we all know we've been living in a pandemic. We're all almost, you know, wanting to get out to the other side, but the fact that we've had to face with the supports that we've had to increase because of the pandemic, the population that we serve, they're vulnerable, they're immunocompromised. And so many types of government support have actually ceased, or the restrictions have gotten so high. And so when we looked at filling the need, what else could we be doing? We haven't been able to hold in-person events. So our kidney walk wasn't able to have an in-person event. It's just not the same when you can do a virtual. But a 50/50, anybody can do it. And you can do it from your phone. You can go to your desktop and one lucky Albertan, because you must be in Alberta to actually buy a ticket and 18 plus. But the more that we can raise the pot, 50% is going to go to that lucky winner, and the impact that it will have to the patients that we serve is really going to be immeasurable.
How was support last year for the Cash for Christmas 50-50 draw?
So last year was the first time we came up with the concept, Cash for Christmas. I mean, who doesn't want cash? And, especially we're always tight during Christmas time, and like to have that extra money. Last year's, we tried to go for $1 million, and we ended up just shy of 200,000. Well, the winner received almost $100,000 in winnings, which was incredible. And it went actually to a family who was, they'd been tied up and had, reduced income. So, I mean, it went to a really great, deserving individual. And this year we thought, let's make it bigger. This is where we want to do it. So someone, again, 50-50s, you know how it works. So as the pot grows, the winnings will grow. And we know that we can make it affordable for everyone. So tickets start as low as one for $5 or up to $100 when you get 500 tickets for more of your chances to win, and everything in between. It is something that's very simple. Again, you can use it on your mobile device. You can go online, and we really need the community to help, not just buy, like I said, their ticket. Spread the word, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Twitter, promote it to your family and friends. The more chances that you can enter, and hopefully within your circle, someone wins, and maybe there's winnings that get split up. Short-term financial assistance. We're providing groceries. We're providing gas cards, bus tickets. We pay for rent. We help with utility payments. We are paying medication. We're paying for equipment. The list goes on and on. We also help those that are traveling to dialysis 40 kilometers or more with gas cards. On average, those that are having to come to in-center training to do home hemodialysis that is only done at the University of Alberta, they have to come for 8 weeks. We help with accommodation. We help with so many different aspects of a patient's journey. In Alberta, it impacts over 600,000 Albertans. And of course, we have stepped up our efforts as well to help push for system changes in organ and tissue donation. And we've made it so simple that people can be able to step forward, make an impact, support the communities that they live in and work in, and all of those individuals that really need everybody to step up. We've made it simple. We want someone to be able to win that $5 million. It is possible. That's what we have, and that is what we're aiming for. And you have only until 10 p.m. on November 18th to buy your 50-50 ticket at cashforchristmas.ca. And everyone 18 and over, we need you to step up, and we can do this together.
Perfect. Well, you just answered all my questions right there, Flavia. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and hopefully this helps get the word out and more people will be able to help support before the 18th.
Sincerely appreciate it. And to everyone else, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Let's make an impact together. Cashforchristmas.ca. I hope one lucky Albertan and maybe one of your viewers will be a new millionaire in Alberta. Thank you.
And now we're ending off with taking another look at your 7-day forecast here. Wednesday, we will be seeing a cooler day with -10 and a low of -13. So bundle up. It will be a little bit cooler outside. Thursday will warm up to -3, but we will have a low of -17 with a mixture of some sun and cloud. Friday, we'll have a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds with -3. So hopefully that sun will warm up the day and, maybe stop some of that snow. Saturday and Sunday we'll have -6 on Saturday with a lot more flurries, a high possible chance. Sunday will end off with -14, so a cooler day on Sunday to end off that weekend. Double-digit temperature with a low of -23, so make sure you're staying warm outside. And Monday will be starting off next week a little bit cooler as well with -9 on Monday with a mix of some sun and cloud. And Tuesday we will see -8.
Thank you so much for joining us on Primetime Local News, and you can catch the second hour on CITL.